Just when you thought Sportswire Radio was going to take the night off and maybe finally this was the night I wouldn't come on the air and, you thought, all right, well, maybe we can take the weekend off and maybe even take the rest of the night off. Not so fast, ladies and gentlemen, because we have a lot to talk about, especially in the world of the IMF, but also in the world of a promotion that we don't get a chance to talk a lot about. And our guest here, boy, has he done it all. You want to talk about the true definition of a worldwide legend, a man that has done it all. He has done it all, not only when it comes to the Midwest. You've seen him in MWA, you've seen him in IMF, you've seen him all across, and even in places around the world. Oh, I don't know, Ireland and the UK, and we know him, and he's in our Hall of Fame, and he's got a lot of war stories. We've seen him in the ring with the likes of Brian Blade. And how about this little guy named James Storm? Yeah, Cowboy James Storm. You probably heard of him, right? A lot of people have. But our guest has had wars with him. Plus, he's also had wars with some people that might be coming to Sportswire Radio soon, like Thomas McEntee. That's right, that Thomas McEntee. And he'll talk about that here maybe and some, and maybe you'll see an IMF guest that's on his platform after we're on his show. But it's good to have our guest here. And since it's been a while since our guest has been on Sportswire Radio, and after all, he is the true definition of a living legend, a worldwide legend, a worldwide phenomenon, who on his own YouTube channel has over 3,300 subscribers. Little old me is just trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. He's already got 3,300 plus subscribers, and maybe we should let him take over Sportswire Radio. After all, he does a pretty good job reviewing Clint Eastwood movies. Boy, I forgot about that movie until I watched that review just before, and he certainly knows it all. It was not a good movie. Maybe I'll get into that because I actually did movie reviews once upon a time. I took drama in college for 3 years. I'll leave that at that for now, because I know we're in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. And our guest has been a huge part of that in this journey he's had in the wrestling world for over a decade and a half. Let's give him that introduction that he deserves, that worldwide White Angel, Belfast Bulldog-like introduction. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, worldwide renown, IMF General Manager, Sportswire Radio, Hall of Famer, the man behind Levi McDaniel, Fight Promotions. Simply put, his names are the Belfast Bulldog, the White Angel, Levi McDaniel.
And the crowd goes mild, Tom.
No, not mild. They're going wild for you. We actually do have a lot of people in the chat right now. Maybe it was good because we were late, and that actually builds the chat. They were definitely going wild, not mild. Come on,
That's what I like to hear.
You're Levi McDaniel. We're not gonna go mild tonight. Boo. How you doing though? How you been? Seriously, it's been a hot skip since you've been here. How you feeling, my friend? How's everything going?
I'm doing great, Tom. And as you see, I've got a new look. I decided that, in fact, the fans of Sportswire, They're great, but not all the fans in the world, I'm sorry, safe to say, they don't deserve and they don't get a chance to see the beautiful face of Levi McDaniel. So I get to hide that from now
Well, if
and
it makes
time
you feel
again.
any better, Mr. McDaniel, I actually should probably put a mask on. It might actually help the viewership. It might actually help the subscriber counts. No, I'm only kidding. But obviously, well, maybe not. Maybe the viewers might actually want to see me put a mask on. And but obviously, you
Well,
look good
Tom,
nonetheless. Yes.
Tom, I thought you've been wearing a mask this whole time.
I think I was born with a mask. I always
Oh,
tell
shit.
people. I always tell people all the time. I'm Halloween 24/7, 365 year round. I don't have to go put a costume on. I don't have to go put on a mask or nothing because this is Halloween for me every day. Listen, I go out in the streets all the time where I live, and somebody randomly will always honk at me and say something. Well, not as much the last couple weeks, but for sure, no question that obviously Halloween is every day, I suppose. But it's been a while since you've been here. There's obviously a lot to talk about. I think I want to talk about a couple things that you've done. I want to promote some stuff. I got some links up I want to put up here on the screen. And let me talk to you first about the IMF. Obviously, the IMF you've been a huge part of for quite a while, really for over the past year. And it's been an interesting last few months in the IMF. And how do you feel about the way things are in the IMF? Boy, we've got this whole thing with the foundation and the centers. And, it's a brouhaha between them without obviously going into too details about what happened in all-out warfare. But how do you feel about right now the way things are going in the IMF?
Well, things are looking great for the IMF, Tom, and it's a great time to be a fan of wrestling as
Good.
far as the underground scene goes. If you haven't watched IMF, click onto their channel right now because guess what? You can go back and watch all their old matches for over the past couple years now. Everything since it started all the way up until they've done a great job putting the matches out, and it's getting to the point where if you're new to the product, you can get on there and you can follow who is who, and you can kind of see, like you said, we've got the centers, we've got the foundation, the storylines are all coming into play. That's what you get when you have month in and month out consistent shows. We're able to tell the stories and it's all starting to develop. And honestly, man, since my injury and being the GM now and doing commentary at the shows, I'm having the time of my life. And it's fun watching to see these guys grow because everybody's been improving every show. And I really like the group of guys. We got a good group of guys there that's hungry, and everybody's doing the best with what they've got. That's the best way to put it. And that's what I love about IMF right now. It's on the up, and everybody's trying their best to put out.
Absolutely. Listen, I mean, the IMF, it goes without saying on this platform, even aside that it's Omen's platform. But no, all kidding aside, really the last year and a half and seeing, how far this company has come and seeing where they were then to where they are now. And I'm curious because you've had such a decorated career. I mean, I mentioned James Storm. You've traveled overseas. You've got a following internationally. But what's it like? I know you're on the shelf, and I know eventually one day, you'll be back out there. But what's it like doing commentary and watching these guys compete? What has that experience been like for you? Because again, it's something that, you're always used to competing and mixing it up with these guys. But what has commentary been like at these live shows?
I absolutely love it. And it's, I've always told myself, I've gotten to professional wrestling in my teens. I debuted pretty young. I've been doing this a long time now, 15, 16 years or so. Um, I've always said once my body gives out, hopefully I have a good enough reputation, and I've done enough that my career speaks for itself that I can go back and I can help other promotions, anybody that'll want my help. And these guys are great friends of mine now, and I love being there to help support them. And it's all a big learning process, and it's fun being there along for the ride. And trust me, it's hard sometimes sitting back and just watching and doing commentary and not being able to be in there. But looking back over the last year, I had my shoulder injury actually happen in September of 2023. And if you look on my channel, I think it's a tag team match. It's The Answer versus Coach Luis and Ramon Nui. It's a tag team match. You don't see anything crazy in the match. After the match, had a cigarette, hanging out all night. It's the next morning I woke up and I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. I started having my neck issues, and after going to the ER a few times for my neck. I started finding out I've had other issues, such as my labrum being torn, my bicep tendon needing reattached. Just, it's been a rough go. And that happened in September, making it almost impossible to work. I still was able to, I've wrestled probably 7 matches with that torn labrum, and it's been excruciating. And it got to the point where I can't, I'm a shell of myself. I can't move around, and I needed surgery. And overall, buddy, my body hurts right now. I need to be on the shelf. I need to be doing other things like commentary, like GM, other roles. So, anybody on here that's watching this, these other groups out there, backyard, look, I'm in Iowa. I'm not totally against traveling, man. I've done it all my career. I've traveled all over the world. I kind of am at that point where I don't really want to travel, but at the same time, man, if there's groups out there and they want help and I can come in and do something, or if I can even do something from home, any advice, anything to help, man, I just want to help at this point with wherever I can. And that goes for all levels, because I'm one that truly believes in the all wrestling matters movement, even before it was a thing. Because I started in the yard. Dude, I'm the most humble when it comes to the training. I lived in Japan for 2 years. I worked with the best. I trained with the best, and I've got no shame in the yard. I love the yard, because to me, if there's a guy willing to go out in the yard and take bumps and do this, he's got the passion. Those are the guys I want to be around. And I've got another open invitation here. LMFP, that's my promotion. I'm right outside Des Moines, Iowa. Every Sunday, I'm offering open doors. My place Sundays. I want to film content for YouTube, whether it's promos, whether it's matches, whatever. Depending on the weekend, depending who we have here, it might just be a straight up yard match. It might be mats. It might be a ring if you're lucky. But I want the guys who really want it, and the guys who are willing to show up and just really want to kill it. Guess what? I'm going to do anything for you, because I've got bigger things coming that I can't announce, but it includes a ring, a training.
Here on this platform, because it'll God only knows it'll hit the fan. So yeah, that would.
Well, it'll be there eventually, but trust me, there's big things coming here. I'm talking about a wrestling ring. I'm talking about an actual training school. So this is your chance, man. Right now, I'm doing the best with what I got, and right now, that's being able to go out and help mentor and maybe produce some videos in the yard. So if anybody wants to come my way, we're doing it Sundays. And guess what? The matches will be on the channel. I'll do what I can to pump the videos, get the views out there for people to see you guys that have never seen you maybe before, new audience. And there's a way to do it. I want to show that you can do different styles, man. There's Japanese style. Not every style has to be a hardcore style. You can wrestle without a ring. You could do submissions. I look at wrestling as a combat action sport movie, like a video game, like Street Fighter, like a Tekken, like a Virtua Fighter, like a fighting movie, because guess what? All those movies and all those games are the same thing. They're pro wrestling. The only difference is they don't have the ring entrances. They don't always have a ring, but they're a story, and they're fighting, and they're telling a story, and it continues. That to me is the art of pro wrestling, and everything else in it is just a prop. You develop yourself and you come up with a character, and that is you. That is your brand. That is your moneymaker. That is your entrepreneurship, is yourself. That is your product. And then you go out there and you make that character something. You don't need a ring. You don't need a title belt.
I mean, look at Danhausen, right, during COVID, right? I mean, look at how he transformed himself. Not everybody, if you can go out and promote yourself, I mean, the old adage, it doesn't matter if you're a wrestler, if you were a salesman selling magazines, if you were just somebody going door to door, you're your own salesman. You're your own advocate. There's a lot of people I see in the chat, and I want to ask you this, because you are a man that has done so much, and we really haven't had a chance to get you here a lot, but I know there's a lot of people in here. Some of them you obviously, I'm sure, are giving a lot of advice to in the IMF. Others you maybe are going to meet for the first time, but what advice do you normally give a lot of these, yard guys or undergrounders? What advice do you give? Because again, you've done like some major things here. So like, what advice do you give, or would you give?
Here's some advice.
Yes,
Don't get caught up in, because I've heard it on here before. a matter. Everything comes down to being humble and not having an ego and being respectful for one. And this is going to be coming from me, the fake word. Oh, fake. Guess what? I'm not offended when someone says fake, guys. This is a fake world. Yes, what we do, you're going to get fucking hurt. You may end up going to the hospital. I've been to the ER multiple times. My body shows it now. I can barely walk. Uh, that part is not fake. But the part in your head, you need to remember it's a fake world. You're not going out there and fighting. You're not a badass. You might be tough. You're going to be tougher than most of the people you know because you're getting slammed around like a rag doll. You're destroying your body for fun. You're sick in the head a little bit. We all got to be doing this. So you're going to be tough, right? But that doesn't mean you're just a badass. And you don't want to carry that energy walking into this place, guys. Look at these groups as like a club. We're all friends. We're all brothers. We're all a team. We all want each other to have a good match. We all want each other to the show to be good. That's what I love about wrestling when it's like that. That's what I love about the underground scene, the backyard scene, because when you get into the pros, when you get into the indies, it gets clicky. And if
Yeah,
you
I
get
gotta
caught
be
up
honest
into
with
that,
you. I did a lot of British independent. We've talked about this before a little bit off. Yeah,
sure.
I covered a lot of British independent wrestling, and I don't know. It was just, it's like very dry. It's like the scene. I know you know a lot about it because you've been over there. It's like it doesn't have the same juice that the backyard and the underground does. I mean, I just, to me, I just see the fire. I just see the energy. I just see guys that a lot of ways, maybe they don't have some of the skills or some of the things yet that guys in the pros like yourself or, guys that have been in the indies, but there's just something that I feel in the backyard and the underground that guys have that I don't know from my experiences in the British independence. A lot of these guys would come on here. Some of them were maybe some of the best wrestlers I've like ever seen, and watching their content, I still love it. We have some guys coming back next month, but there's just not, I don't know. I just, the independent British scene and just in general, I think there's something, maybe it's clickiness, maybe it's weekend warrior. They come about it like it's a job. Maybe it's just something that there's not that specialness that I really feel the yard in the underground has. That's just what I think. I mean, I don't know nothing. You're a wrestler, you know better than me, but that's just what I've seen in 5 years doing this.
I think that okay, there's a hierarchy in professional wrestling. That is very real, and I think that that gets often over. How do you put it? It gets used in places it shouldn't be, right? There is a traditional hierarchy in professional wrestling, but it's often brought up in times when it doesn't necessarily matter. Yes, seniority, yes, stuff does matter. Respect matters always, but you should respect everybody. The thing is, Tom, is usually the guys who are the biggest pricks about that stuff are they're caught up in an old way. Maybe they were taught old school. When I started out, um, this was my pro when I had my pro debut. Man, it was really frowned upon to be a yarder, and at that point, it was almost like you had to drop any association with that. And this was in the early 2000s. So you almost kind of had to make the shift and leave those friends behind, leave that behind, and pursue
I'm seeing
the.
guys now do that. There was a couple of guys that came on here in the last month. They were yarders, and now it's like they've scrubbed the whole. We had two. I don't want to name their names. They came on here like, I'm training. I'm not in the yard. That's it. Don't even talk about the yard. I mean, so we're even seeing it now. It's like I've had two guys come on recently with that.
Well, and here's the thing, Tom. A lot of those guys is probably because that's what they're being told from their peers at where they're training at, or the school might have rules. I get it. That's part of the business. Ultimately, you pretty much have to, if you're going to go be affiliated with a school and you want to get indie bookings, you're going to have to leave the yard behind for a while, until you can make a name for yourself. Maybe then you can go back and kind of do stuff, but you're going to get shit on. Like ever since I went pro, people have tried shitting on me for any involvement I've had in the yard or this or that. But ultimately, Tom, look, all I can say is this. I love wrestling, and that means I love wrestling more than them. It's in my blood. It's in my lungs. It's in my blood, dude. I love wrestling
Love
so
it.
much, dude,
Love it.
that nothing's gonna stop me. No haters can stop me because guess what? I lived in Japan for 2 years. I know what I did training there. I know who my trainers were. I know the compliments I've had from top people in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've worked behind scenes on tours with TNA. I've worked behind scenes helping out with WWE. I've talked to people in high places. Yes, obviously, I'm not. I've done cool things, but that's not always enough to just get that full time spot, right? And
Yeah.
that's fine with me. But that said, um, I know kind of the attitude and the that you have to have, and the way to get anywhere is just be respectful and work hard, and you got to want it. And if those guys are giving me compliments, why do I care what someone jerk off on the internet says? Um, most most of
Yeah.
my critics, I always say this: I guarantee to my critics, no matter what, I'm. If you look me up, I've worked for more promotions than you.
I
I've
have your
wrestled
website up, by
more
the way.
matches.
I'm trying to
I'm
promote you a
just
little
saying, if
bit.
anybody wants to say what they want, they can, but they can't knock my resume, my training, or where I've been. And as far as that goes, before I end on that,
Mm-hmm.
look, uh, look, I don't care what anybody says negatively because I will be doing this shit until my last breath, and I've been doing this since my teens. So I guarantee my window, as long as I don't die, I'll be doing this longer than any of these people talking. Most of the guys that talk, they were failed indie wrestlers, guys that I worked with shows that I've never seen again, guys that I've trained with, guys that have failed in the pros and I never see again. Those are the ones that talk the most shit. Well, I'm still doing my thing like every week somewhere, or I'm online every day doing something, or my website's bringing in some affiliate marketing. I've got things going on that's just keeping this going. So I
Good.
really don't care about what anybody
Well,
has
I
to say
do care about
negatively.
people following your website, hitting the sub buttons on YouTube. I know people want to talk to you, but I have to ask you something because you said something so fascinating because people would love to know about it. So, what was that like living in Japan for 2 years? My brother has lived overseas and he's lived in China and he's lived in, Italy and Russia, Mongolia. He's done the teaching English thing. I think he's been to Japan. I'm almost certain, but not 100% certain. But a lot of guys in here, obviously peers and people that I'm sure you've obviously, been helping out in the IMF. But I have to ask you, what was it like living in Japan for 2 years? I think that's really fascinating. Would you like to talk about that for the audience?
Yeah, it went by too quick, and just like life in general, you really, really don't realize like, dude, it was my dream to wrestle in Japan. It was my dream. I remember studying Big Japan Pro Wrestling, the death matches, and then when I actually got invited to train at their dojo and stay there, being the second Gaijin foreigner to actually be invited to stay there. The first was Craig Classic. He was an indie worker, NWA junior heavyweight champion from Florida. But being able to be in a system with guys that, back then a lot of these guys that I trained with were green, and now they're like mainstays in Japan. They've way surpassed me. Just being in the system with these guys, it did so much for my wrestling career, and I learned so much. That culture respects wrestling like none other, and I tell everybody this: it, anybody who thinks like Japan or you can just go there and get it given to you, that was the place I had to work harder anywhere in my life, and I was a jobber there. I think I lost every match I had in Japan. I think there was one I went to a draw. There might have been a tag match that was a draw, but I mean,
You
come
wrestled
on.
in Japan. That doesn't matter to me. You were there. It's like I've interviewed guys that were in the major leagues, and okay, maybe they didn't have the most successful careers, but they made it. I look at it the same way. You made it. You went to Japan, and it doesn't matter how many times you won or how many draws or losses.
No.
You were there. You had an experience that I got to be honest. How many people on this platform are going to have? I mean, I could count on my hand how many people. Dean Allmark is the one guy I know that did it in Japan. That's it. Everybody else I'm trying to think of that I might have, maybe Franco Varga, and that's it. I mean, there's people that come on here. They never would get that opportunity going to Japan. So to me, you're not a jobber. You're a winner. You're a winner, Mr. McDaniel, because you made it there. You wrestled countless matches. To me, you're a winner. That's the way I see it.
Oh yeah, it's a winning. It's a win. I just mean in terms of how I was used was definitely not.
Well,
I'm not. I'm not sitting on here gonna act like I was in New Japan and I was in the main event, winning
you
the
can say it
G1
on Sports. We
climax.
will go with it.
No. Basically though, literally, I got to do some cool shit over there. I had the time of my life. Oh my God, I partied so hard. I don't drink anymore because I partied so hard when I was there and partied like that ripple effect of the party continued on for
Hmm.
years in my life and it had to end because Japan just had that impression on me. It was all about training and working out and wrestling and partying. But the thing is, man, is I had way more failures in Japan than I had positives. I've got some cool stories, but dude, all my rejections over there, my failed tryouts I had over there, I had so many negative blows. Um, but I never once felt down. I was always smiling. I've always believed in myself. That's if you get to know me, Tom, the number one trait Levi McDaniel has is self-belief. And I'm delusional in the head because I believe in myself almost at an unreal, like a subhuman, not sub. I don't want to say God. That'd be cool.
Oh, you can
Uh,
say it on Sportswire. We probably go along with it.
well, I'm not saying I think of myself that way because I definitely don't. I'm just saying I've always had that belief in myself that no matter how good or bad I am, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be happy, and in my head, I'm gonna succeed, whether it's true or not. I know most of the time I'm full of shit. And I'm just but I always go into everything like happy and like I'm gonna fucking kill it. I'm gonna be the best.
But that's the
And
way I think you're supposed to go about anything in your life. If you go about it like just no care in the world, at ease,
yes,
going
don't
in,
be anxious.
yeah, I think I always am a believer. One of my teachers in high school told me this, and she always talked about the equilibrium. Always got to be like. I remember we were in health class. I remember because she was a pretty young teacher right out of college, but it was really like to the fact that she talked about that you had to just be almost like at an equal state of mind, like a balance, a positive equilibrium. And I think that applies to anything in life. I think that it applies to what you did or what other these people that come on here are in the chat are. So you had that belief and it helped you get to these places. But I want to talk. I know a lot of people want to talk to you. I'm going to get to comments. I will. I know a lot of people want to say, but I want to ask you a question because I want to talk about the promotion that you have coming up that's been on Sundays. So when you're with, so what can we see? Who are some of the people that maybe some of us on this platform might know of that are, wrestling on the Sunday shows? Because I would have a feeling, right, there's been some familiar faces you've had or some people maybe that we might know about here on Sportswire, I would imagine, right, that have wrestled on the Sunday shows?
Well, actually, Tom, so I've done a few Sunday shows. Whenever I have a ring, like use the IMF's training ring or have someone else host, sometimes I rent a ring. Whenever I have a pro ring, of course, everyone definitely will show up. And you've seen IMF guys. There's
Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw
some other guys,
Instagram.
but
I posted it. That's why I was like, okay, well, I feel like there's been some guy because Instagram post I've seen it on Instagram.
But basically, LMFP, the way my promotion kind of is started before COVID. And my idea on the promotion is, I'm going to do fairs, I'm going to do festivals, I'm going to do
Mhm.
towns. I'll rent the ring, I'll book whoever I want that's available, and we'll put on a little show, just something small like that. But that's not enough for me because I love storytelling, I love more, and I need something more for content. Well, whenever I do just the yard, come on, dude, nobody shows up. Everybody on here wants to say all wrestling matters, but nobody wants to wrestle in the yard. Um,
Well, it's
I'll,
funny
I'll
you said that because actually, I
they want a
know.
ring.
Yeah,
They
but
want a ring, Tom. They want a
but
ring.
you know what though? I gotta be honest, Levi. That's where I do disagree a little bit because I've seen it on my Instagram posts where guys, push
Well,
back
I
against
don't
some.
know them.
Well, no, nothing to do with you. But like, I do believe that if people are on the trampoline, I do believe if people are on mats, I think it is a form of wrestling. Copper Dragon, another man, a very respected man. He was with the GWC Intensity, longest episodic running, program in the backyard in the underground. He helped mold the career of Skrilla, Peanut Butter Falcon, and Shalante Royal. And he always talks about that things like trampoline wrestling is a really important tool in helping everybody learn in wrestling. So I'm a believer that people shouldn't dismiss other forms of wrestling if it's done in an important way. I'm a real big believer in that.
Hear me out on this, Tom.
Yes, sir.
The ring is just a prop. The yard is the ground. All people in the world have been on the ground. Not all
Yes.
people in the world have been in a ring. A lot of people think the ring's a trampoline. They think it's soft. It still hurts. Guess what? The ground, everybody knows it hurts. When you watch the video and you see a guy get slammed on the ground, on the yard, when you see a guy take a move on the yard, it hurts. It registers with people. I'm a fan of no ring wrestling. A lot of people shit on it. To me, it's more brutally entertaining if whether it's
You do it in the underground scene. A lot of guys come on here have done it. Jimmy Controversy, Hardcore, and
I love it.
Me too.
And I love those guys. Some of those guys you mentioned, trust me, the great LM as I call myself now. Check my ego. I'm just Levi, guys.
You could have a big ego.
I'm just playing. I'm just Levi, but I've watched these guys because I love watching no ring matches myself. And if you look at my profile,
yes,
I'm in Japan wrestling no ring matches, not in the yard, but in like a sumo, judo hall, places like that. You don't need a ring. If you know how to technically wrestle, you can do it. If not, you just use hardcore. If not, you tell a story. You just be a little bit more conservative on the bumps you're taking, and you go out there and you do it. Look at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport style. Look at Shane McMahon's Underground. All that shit is not a new concept. This stuff, man, I was doing that years ago in Japan, dude, no ring. And then people shit on me for that. Well, now they're doing it, and I'm still trying to do it. But here's the thing. People don't want to show up when it's no ring. But here's what they'll get, dude. I guarantee you, they're going to have a video on my channel. They're going to get more people watching it.
3,300 plus subscribers on YouTube, a website that's renowned, a Twitch page with a lot of followers, a merchandise page that you have. So I've been putting the link up throughout the entire show, but there's no question that I would absolutely want to be on Levi McDaniel's promotion. I mean, if I lived in the great state of Iowa, I would be showing up 2 hours early before yard time. I wouldn't call it.
I'll put it this way, Tom. Another couple promotions I wrestle for, they're not in Iowa. They're independents. They'll do shows where maybe they get 100, 200 people, but guess what, man? They're watching more views on my backyard wrestling than they ever do when I'm wrestling in some of these bigger shows. So to me, if people want to go off of what people like, guess what? The analytics don't lie. The people tune into what they like. There's no algorithm bullshit. That's all fluff. The algorithm, if the views are up, that means the people like what they're watching. And people like watching that hard hitting yard action. And that's what I'm trying to bring on Sundays. If anybody wants to step up, and here's the thing, I'm telling you this right now, you asked who I have on Sundays. I have people that I'm training. I have some young females that are trying to be pros. I don't have the access to the ring for them. They're limited. I've got other people that are very limited. There's a style in Japan that's known as sleaze indie wrestling, which is like the micro indies of Japan. I did those all over too. The most fun I've had in my life. And that's what IMF, when I met these guys in their backyard, reminded me of, was because it was guys coming together with passion.
They had so much passion. They were my show, and James Taylor was in the chat. I mean, they were just wanting to show up everywhere.
That's why I wanted to help them.
Yes.
That's why you see me, Levi McDaniel, wrestling in their backyard early on and having those matches.
Who lived in Japan and wrestled James Storm was in a yard. Yeah, I was like, I think when Omen and Soldier were talking about you for the first time last year, a little over a year ago, I know Omen could probably confirm it. I was like, wow. I was saying to myself in my head, I'm like, this guy is like, with his name is going and spending time with them. I was like, wow, I was like, I don't know if everybody else would. I couldn't, with all due respect, I don't think Dean Olmark would have done that. My friend Dean Olmark. I don't think certain guys would have done that I know, but that shows the kind of character I think that you have. And, you saw something, and, here we are. I guess you can look at it from that vantage point. At least I think.
Well, it's what I love, wrestling. I love hanging out. I love good people. That's what IMF's all about. And I just want to keep IMF going. I want they're Cedar Rapids, Tom. I'm Des Moines, so it's about a 2-hour difference. We're in the same state. I'm more central. They're more northeast of me. But we got the Nebraska guys that are just to the west of me, so I'm right in the middle.
Thomas McEntee, right? Blake Leshner, right? I saw
that. I introduced those guys to IMF. If you look, they've wrestled LMFP. years
Yes.
way before that. Those
Thomas
guys were just
McEntee is a known name. He is a known name in the backyard circuit. He's a name that was name dropped on actually a couple of guys mentioned him. He's been around for a little while, Thomas McEntee.
Thomas started with his backyard wrestling promotion out with his little group that are kind of like kids, didn't really know what they were doing. I met him. He went to MWA, an independent out in Nebraska, to try to do like a little training seminar. And I connected with all those kids out there. And I've went out to BYW, his yard, and helped out. And then I've always used those guys, whoever's interested with any of my projects. Most of my LMFP projects have been I've rented a ring and just like – I'm so open to I want the shows to be welcome, all experience levels, all ages. Get in there, we make some matches and we make some memories, because guess what, guys? If you're thrown on just a big indie right now or any indie, you're going to be thrown in as a job, or you might be a first match, you might get a 5-minute match. I want to give you the opportunity to have a 10-minute match, a 15-minute match, a main event caliber match, but in a spot that you might not get that opportunity on another show. And the other thing I do at LMFP, bro, is I don't change anybody's names, their gimmicks, what they want to do. If you come to me and say, I want to be Tommy Tomato, and I'm going to come out with tomatoes, and I'm going to juggle, and I'm going to do that. Cool, bro. That's who you're going to be, because whatever you want to do in my show, we make it happen. It's not a dictatorship. I want this. It's a collective, more or less.
That's why I always like, because what do I always say for those that are in the chat? I have said this for ages. To me, I'm like, listen, you want to come on, very open-minded. The bridges, never permanently burned. I love that. And I want people hit that sub button. You see it right now. Before I get it, I'm going to finally introduce people, because a lot of people want to talk to you. I want people to hit that sub button. I can't stress enough. And here, what I want even more, because I got some more links here. On top of that, Twitch, merchandise, website. That's how you get in touch with the legendary White Angel Belfast Bulldog, the great Levi McDaniel. He literally backs it up. That's his information. Let's get to the chat, because a lot of people I know are fired up. They want to talk to you, and think it's time to let the people have something to say. Let me take this off the screen so we can see you in a big screen. Let me go to a number of people first. Oh, there we go. Way behind on comments. That's 36 minutes worth. Yes. Hello there, Zilla. Thank you very much for tuning in. All Wrestling Matters. We appreciate that. Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, America's resident rock star, is in the house. Shocker, baby. Yeah, baby. Sean, I was speaking to Mr. Jovi.
That's my thing at IMF, man. I'm always, and not just in life, man. I'm always throwing up the shocker for photos, for family reunions, for everything. It's the shocker, baby.
I don't noticed you had your own vlog on your page, because you did a behind the scenes in the comments.
Did.
Because everybody's going, Jovi's vlog, but you had one too.
Well, because I was cleaning my room and I found a camcorder that's old, and I was just wanted to play with it. So I took it to the show, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just let it roll from the commentary booth and get a little backstage footage just from another angle, from my point of view, and see if anybody likes it.
Well, I think people did, and I think that you gave Sean some competition, but only fun competition. Yes, hi to Sean Jovi. There is Ox McCoy, my buddy, Mr. Ox McCoy, Mr. Bound in Blood, Intended Matches in Blood, Reigns in Blood. I always share Ox's post on Instagram, so he doesn't.
That's my boy Ox.
Oh, I love Ox. Ox hopefully backs me up on that one. I do share all his posts on Instagram. I think I know who you are, and I say there is a Pierce for you. Oh, Jonathan Pierce from WCE in the great state of Wisconsin, Mr. Jovi's promotion. There is.
Right on, bro. Come on.
Speaking of the sinners, Isaiah Rage, the one and only Isaiah Rage, is in the house. The Isaiah Rage, and
let's talk about him real quick before we move on, man.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Isaiah, dude. I'm so glad he came into IMF, and IMF, we were just getting at the point where, we've had a few shows at the Rec, and then Isaiah come on. I think he fit in right away with the group, and I like the dude a lot, and hopefully we can keep seeing him there. So
yeah,
dude, thanks.
I mean, I speak to him. Another one on TikTok. I share his post all the time. We speak.
Oh, but he's a sinner though, so fuck him.
You can say that on the platform. I'm going to say hello to Isaiah Rage, because I definitely want to. No, it's okay. You can say anything. You're Levi McDaniel. You wrestled James Storm, so you can say whatever you want. But
I just don't like the sinners, I guess, right? We got to play a little kayfabe here. A little kayfabe.
Well, I know that, so I'm going to obviously get to that. Yes, we say hello to Isaiah, and Zilla, that's not the storyline yet. The public didn't see it. Il Drago is here, who's not in the center, is not in the foundation, but he says certainly
I like
hello.
him too. He's been at IMF now, and I enjoy that guy a lot. I love seeing that dude come out. But yeah, man, I love this group at IMF, and thanks for the support, dude. Tuning in, man. What's up?
I appreciate that, and this is making me feel good because every time you guys are actually in the show, I buy one ticket for somebody. So I hope somebody actually goes and watches the show after I.
Oh, that's what I used to buy a couple Diet Mountain Dews for the announce table. But thanks anyways, Tom.
Oh, you're welcome. How are the Mountain Dews? How are the diet? Why not regular Mountain Dews instead of diet? Why not regular?
They're just flat. I don't know. Something's up at the rec. They need to adjust that vending machine. But we do sell. There's Glizzies over in the corner. They sell Glizzy dogs. Good concession stand. Gotta love it.
I saw Sean Jovi on his. I talked to Sean about this yesterday. I know we'll get into more comments, but I was talking about the vendor guy came back because him and Jovi were having a conversation. So hopefully the hot dogs were good on last week's show.
They're fucking excellent, man. He does a great job.
Did everybody get a hot dog and a handshake?
I did not. And
you did not. Soldier,
I prefer.
Soldier!
This is an exclusive. Instead of a hot dog and a handshake, any promoters out there, I prefer a sandwich and a hand job, just so you know. But you didn't hear that from me.
I certainly am saying no comment on that because I do get people from all over the place that watch these shows, and we've kind of turned a new leaf in Sportswire. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Chaotic, from the great company of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. He says hello. There's a lot more comments here. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Nolan McDermott, from the great state of Illinois, from Small Town Backyard Wrestling, the home of Tyler Fury. So certainly Tyler Fury. I'm sure we'll get to that. Mr. Drake Golddragon, I think he wrestled for you guys. I'm not going to go. I don't know what happened, but he was on the show, right? I will say hello to Drake Golddragon. Obviously, foundation all the way. 4 up, 4 down. Let's go. 4 up, 4 down. Yes. Move on. Yes, my friend GAC from, I believe, Breakpoint Wrestling. How you doing out there in the South as well? We love the South. Mr. Chaotic is doing well. I love that. Zilla, yes, says hello. And there he is, the champion himself, Mr. Soldier GP, the Mr. IMF popular one-time heel monster. I think he's just a
my
monster
brother
now.
there, bro.
Yeah, we love him. We love Soldier. He's got those.
Yeah, Soldier's my dude, man. Last month, my sister won tickets on the radio for AEW Rampage Dynamite Ring of Honor, and I took Soldier. Soldier was free. We ended up going there, man. Mephisto, Ace Diamond, they drove down. They had separate seats.
This is a topic on, I think, last month's show with Ace, because it came up with Ace and AEW. I think it came up on one of them.
And I'll say this, Tom. I'm at the point in my career where I love being able to cut back and just let loose and have fun with my friends in the business, because earlier on in my career, man, I was so old school to where I was taught, dude, you do not go to shows if you're not booked on them. Even something like a WWE, AEW, all that shit. If I was going to a WWE back in the day, it would have to be because I was doing something backstage or extra work. Other than that, it was a big no-no. Now, dude, I've gotten to the point where it's like, dude, I want to have as much fun. I want to be as much wrestling as I can, dude. Drop all that bullshit. I have nothing to prove to anybody. I know the best is still coming for me. I really believe that
it is. I think we say it all the time, and really, thank you for saying that, because really the last 5 or 6 days on Sportswire has really been about that. I think that's been the motto. I mean, it's been a really flow, and it's just so poetic that you're here, because the last, Eddie Exile talked about this. Alan Michaels talked about this. We had Jake Dvorak yesterday, our counterparts in Massachusetts. We had Jake Frost, and we're all talking about just that's it. The best is yet to come. Let's turn a new cheek. And I think that's very much well said. And that's why you're a living legend.
I mean, Tom, before you get this comment, Tom, just think about it, dude. Our video cameras now, how good they are. And we're just getting started on our technology, Tom, our production. Then to give it another 10 years from now, if we're still alive and doing all this, I mean, just give it another 10 years.
I'm hoping to be alive. I'd like to be alive tomorrow. I mean, yeah, I'd like
absolutely.
To be alive.
I'm just saying, think about the way I just see from wrestling how it started, man. I had to print out MapQuest when I was getting in the business, bro. When I was in Japan, dude, I had to have somebody help me figure out my way around. Now you got smartphones. Everything's easier. The cameras on your cell phone's better than Hollywood had in the 2000s and in the 90s. Everything is coming together, guys. You can be independent and make a living. You don't need to go wrestle for WWE.
Well, how about, I only remember the tail end of the late 90s, and I remember still to that the only way you found out like wrestling around like the world was you bought the PWI 500 if you didn't have a computer. I mean, I don't remember having the internet until about like 2000. I must have been like 10 maybe, like, and it
Yeah.
was like, it was like you read the PWI 500 video. I remember still like, you didn't have what we have today and the connections and this. So it's a really like use the technology, like you said, in a way, and it's going to only, get better from here. All the different, platforms out there, it better than anybody because you've obviously, went through it. And let me get to some comments. A lot of people still want to say hello, and I got a lot of them here. And I see, there you go. That's why you are Levi McDaniel, and I'm not. But that's okay. I'm happy. You're happy. Let's all be happy. The the prophecies, prodigal son is here. How's everyone this fine Friday? I got you, McDaniels. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, happy belated birthday to Soldier. I wished him happy birthday on Tuesday's show, I think. And Mr. McDaniel had also his own birthday wish. And shout out to is it Ildrago's wife who made the cake, by the way? I hope everybody
Oh
enjoyed.
God, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. She can bake a cake. I love that.
I was looking at that cake when Jovi posted in his vlog yesterday. I was like, wow. I hope they didn't take any way home. I know Soldier was like, can I get half the cake? But I don't think that would have lasted through the Palo Community Center. I think
no, it definitely did not, dude. I think I ate like 3 pieces of it before the show, and then after the first match, I snuck over there to try to grab another piece, and it was gone.
Well, Soldier, I'm sure hopefully had one. Chaotic just subscribed to YouTube page. There's another subscriber. Want to say hello to one of my friends, by the way. Speaking of the great state of Nebraska, who was here on Tuesday's show, Mr. Jacob Frost himself, who's 2 hours from you. He said, interesting, by the way, and he's a man, very accomplished yarder in the past, and he's been in MEBW. He's now in BTW in the great state of Oregon. I've seen him in WWA. He's wrestled a who's who of yarders in the past, whether it was Matt Thunder and Derek the Destroyer and some guy, Jack Delta. He said, interesting. Maybe that means Mr. Frost will connect with you. Who knows? There's a lot more comments. Well, there's more comments. I have like 35 minutes worth of comments.
Jake, connect with me, bro. Check my email.
I got so many comments still that stay tuned. So we're only just getting started. So that's good. That's always good. Mr. Chaotic would love to show up. He said he's in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the Mississippi Tennessee border. So I'll make sure. I'll connect him. Don't worry. We're friends. I would hope. Hello from Northeast Florida. Hit that mofo like button. Yes, please, Wood Riders. Hit the mofo like button and tell your friends to subscribe to Sportswire Radio. I'm almost at 1,000 subs. Look at Luigi Primo. Do you know the Woo Riders or no? You know him?
No? Oh, Luigi and Primo?
Do you know Woo Riders? Because he said the best pizza chef wrestler.
No, I don't know him, bro.
Thank you for tuning in. I don't know what we'll have more comments. We'll let the community follow up. I love the ROH Ring of Honor pure style, but at the same time, I've always been in love with the Japanese strong style. But honestly, I can understand people trying to stick to the same style. What do you think on that? That's an interesting comment. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, here's a good one from Japan. So when I got there, my first tour all the way up north, there's an island called Hokkaido. It's above the mainland, and there's a promotion that runs that whole territory called Hokuto Pro Wrestling. And one of their mainstay wrestlers, his name is Ricky Fuji, and he's a big-time independent freelancer in Japan. He's also worked in Stampede back in the day. I think he worked in Memphis. He's kind of a legend. He does the Shawn Michaels gimmick, but he's Japanese. He asked me, because he speaks English, he said, do you prefer the Japanese style or the American style? Well, I had some American training, but I was in Japan, dude, and I wanted to fucking show off a little bit. So I was like, yeah, I love that Japanese style, bud. Like, that's what I'm all about. And he just looked at me. He's like, idiot, fool. You know, the American style is what he said is the better style because you're not going to get hurt. You learn how to work your punches. But before I stopped there, when I trained then with Yuki Ishikawa, who is a legend, he's fought MMA. He's fought Rampage Jackson in Japan and Pride. His battle arts was his promotion. It's a stiff style. He taught me, learn how to shoot first, then you learn how to work. And he stretched me and he hurt me. And he put me to the limits. And the reason why is because when you're stretched to that point in training, your face has to sell. You learn how to sell because you feel the pain. And if you know how to feel the pain for real, then it's that much easier to make it a work. So learn how to shoot controlled by someone who can show you the right way, and then you learn how to work it from there. As far as what he's saying here, loving different styles, dude, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I love all styles of wrestling, and I'm a student of the game, dude. I watch probably 6 to 8 hours of wrestling a day still right now with my shoulder injury. If I actually have to go work a job, which I'm gonna because of I'm so far behind on things because of this injury. I'm going to have to watch a lot less wrestling, but I'll always be a student of the game. And that means watching all styles and what's going on in wrestling and just keeping up with everything, man. And there's so many styles, but if you want to go, like, people talk about GCW, people talk about Ring of Honor, people talk about these other big indies. Well, I don't think they're actually watching them. Go watch them, and then you tell me what you like, because I've been watching OVW, which is kind of, I believe, Al Snow's project, and they do a TV style, and they do like an old school style, but they're modern guys, and it's a really good television program. So I feel like there's just so much wrestling out there on streaming services that, guys, you should be watching wrestling like crazy. Like, if you're jerking off to Rick and Morty every night and you're not watching wrestling, how are you going to be?
Rick and Morty?
I mean, I'm just saying, bro, in general, like, it's okay to watch other stuff, but if you're watching like 1 hour a week of wrestling and you're watching 40 hours of bullshit, you can't go out there and expect to be a student of the game and kill it. And when there's other guys out there that are in worse shape than you, there's guys out there that maybe you look at him like, oh, that guy's a nerd. He's a nerd. How can he do that move? Well, maybe he watched more wrestling than you. Maybe he's trying more. People need to just take a step back and not worry about everybody else and think about yourself, what you can do to be the best you can be. And that starts with studying, just like anything in school. Watch wrestling.
You know what the line my uncle used to always use was repetition. It was always, in order for me to do something, it was repetition. Repetition. So, I think that's well said. Although the only wrestling I watch these days is the Backyard and the Underground, because they all come on Sportswire. So I gotta say with the dates.
And that's good entertainment too. And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't know if I watch 6 to 8 a day, but I'm definitely watching a couple of hours a day at least, because we have everybody come on. I like to keep up to date, so I do watch a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, let me get some more comments. Yes,
sure.
Sir.
My shoulder injury has just been so brutal, Tom, and because of my pain from wrestling overall, I've already had neck injury and my hips are bad. My right hip got hurt when I was in Japan early in my career, and it's never been the same. So I get to the point where it's hard for me to sleep at night. It's hard for me to stay still. So I'm in and out watching a lot of wrestling. It helps me sleep. It helps me with everything, man. I can't stay comfortable, so I keep it rolling.
Well, I'm happy you're here with us, and we're having a lot of people that are enjoying it. I'm happy about that. Yes, hi to Jake Frost. That is Mr. Tyler Fury. Howdy, Tom and Levy. And Mr. Fury was here a couple weeks ago, and I have a feeling he's going to be coming back here next week. Stay tuned for that. And
that one's Tyler, the STBW?
Small Town Backyard Wrestling in Illinois. Kewanee, Illinois. Yes.
Tyler's been out at IMF too. That's
2
the
times.
Same
right?
guy. Yeah, of course. The last 2. He's
teaming with Thomas.
He's teaming with Thomas. They are the Furious Tees. So glad to see him in here. Happy to see him at IMF, and another young guy that's got potential. So hopefully he keeps showing up.
Well, I speak to him on Facebook. He said he was. So as far as I know, I mean, he told me.
He was at the last one. Look, all these guys are young, and every time they show up, they're doing better. And what more can you want? I mean, I'm proud of all these guys that are showing up and trying their best. That's all I want to see.
And I'm proud of them being here on Sportswire every time. And I'm proud that I can go and talk about these guys, because I'd rather talk about them than really WWE stuff. Mephisto says, "Oh yeah, Mr. McDaniel is always a pleasure, Bossman." He's not quite Foundation though, but he does say hello.
He's an honorary Foundation member at this point. I feel like he's
like, you guys didn't want him months ago, but now it seems like I guess who knows, right? Who knows? I guess.
Well, it's not officially up to me. I know I'm general manager of this, but as a foundation, I think that's a different consensus here overall. I have no problem with Mephisto being included. You heard that here first from me, LM, the GM, LM, whatever. I say he's got my vote, but it ain't up to me, hon. This is not up to me. And, maybe down the line, we'll see what happens here.
Well, I got a ton of comments, and I'd like to get to them here. Hello, Zilla. Thank you. Yes, Ox, my buddy, says, come sit under the learning tree. That is Levi. Guys, you won't regret it. I agree. I feel like we're learning already.
Thanks, buddy. I'm trying.
We love Ox. We love Ox. I'll show them fake. 6'5", 245. Let's boogie. Mr. Wu is at your service. So he's basically fired up about what you were saying about those that put down wrestling. So thank you, Wu, for that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, appreciate that. There is fake is ASF. Fill in the blanks. Never forgot where you came from. Also, Mr. Frost would like to say Jordan Oliver has done a couple of yard stuff for his buddies. That's a good point. Jordan Oliver, I actually know somebody that wrestled him in the UK, which is a good point. And, maybe we'll see Mr. Frost in Iowa sometime. Mr. Frost, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. I mean, he's one of those guys you could certainly, use him. I tell you, maybe he should show up to LMFP Promotions. I tell you what, Mr. Jake Frost, this is a guy, I would even say, I know you're the general manager for the IMF, but this guy, Jake Frost, I mean, he's built like a tank. I mean, he's got 6 years plus experience in the yard. He's trained also a little bit in the pros. I mean, I'd love to see it. Maybe, I don't know. It's up to you. I know it's up to you and the others that are running the IMF, but this guy, Jake Frost, I'll tell you, I'm going to have him talk to you off the air. I think that's
have him talk to me, and I'll tell you this: as far as LMFP goes, whoever shows up and wants to be the best in my promotion, they're going to get the most attention from me and from the internet and from my attention. So, Jake, talk later.
And consider it. I'll cover it. We can talk about it on Sportswire. So
absolutely.
Omen Black would like to say it is his show after all. My brother and mentor. Much love, brother, and hey, you might see me soon. Well, that was like 35 minutes ago, so maybe towards the end of the show because we think he's just enjoying the comments, which we all are. It's a really enlightening show. One word describes Japan: honor. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one.
I've still got a rash to prove it.
Hi to Omen Black. We got more comments. Me and Soldier and the Foundation, even IMF, owe so much to you, brother. Thank you. We all do want to thank you for the support, and I do appreciate everything you've done by putting your blood, sweat, and tears out there. And I do want to say thank you, even though I know that they owe a lot to you. But I'd like to say thank you just for being here tonight and also for everything you have done for this sport, because I believe that it's guys like you that continue to lay the seeds or the foundation for others to continue. So I would like to say thank you on behalf of everybody out there. My buddy from the great country of Australia. Have you been to Australia and wrestled?
Well, no, but here's the thing real quick. Someone messaged me from there about a year ago, but I ended up thinking it's some trolls. Like I was getting all these calls and these promoters, but I don't know. Nothing ever happened.
There's a young kid named Ace Reed. He has his own little fed. He's also a part of another one, Wrestling Zero. He's saved enough money that he's coming to America next year. He's also friends with the guy Yoshi Matsuda, who's a distro rapper who's got a 60,000 hit single. They got 60,000 hits, and they seem like they might be making some moves. They might want to come to America, and he's from Australia, and he's had his own podcast, and he says good day to us. So,
good day, mate.
Yes, it's 1:11 p.m. Friday there. I
would love to come to Australia in 2024 with my new passport. I'm planning on Germany next year, and Australia would be dope too. So
I'll see if Ace is in the chat. I'm sure he will be. Omen Black, I want to come to IMF. Who do I talk to? I think Omen's going to answer this next, so we'll take care of that. Hello there, Zilla. Yes, hello. And he also says good day to you. Chaotic, that would be the man right there in the mask. So I'll connect Mr. Chaotic to you. I'll take care of it. So for those that are in the chat, remind me who I need to connect to Levi McDaniel, because I'll take care of that when we're off there. I think it's Frost. I think it's Chaotic. I think there's a couple of other people. I'll handle you when we're off the air. I'll take care of that. Say no less, but yeah, I'll take care of it. Mr. Chaotic is a friend of mine. Well, at least off the air, he's a friend. On the air, he's still in the Prophecy and TBW. But that's a long story. We won't even go there. Of course, brother, the door is open unless you're Silver Wolf. Then no, LOL. Well, I want to move away from Silver Wolf. Let's move away from Silver Wolf talk. Let's move away from that. But thank you though for reminding us about who he is. Yes, he's laughing at something. Chaotic is laughing because he's the new Silver Wolf. Let's not go there. The door just closed. Let's get to some more relevant comments. Justin Parsley, who just came up short in winning a championship in Indiana. He's the PWF champion, but he's a sinner. And he says, what a shocker. In caps lock. Justin
Sinners.
Parsley.
Tom, let me tell you something, buddy. Yes, the sinners are no stranger to the shocker. Sinners are all around the world love the shocker. And they know what it's all about, baby, especially this one right here, this little pinky right there.
Oh, well, you know what? Justin Parsley is a man that's been shocking the world lately in the backyard circuit. So I'll say
And I had a
hello.
great time seeing him too out there
I
at
love
IMF.
Justin
And
Parsley. I actually do like Justin Parsley. I know Soldier and Omen Black don't, but I do like him. But I'll move on. Let me back in. Justin, congrats on winning the tag titles. Oh, wait. My bad. Speaking of people that you would be so good on his show, James Taylor, the legendary James Taylor, the TikTok influencer. He's the YouTube streamer like you, and he says, "What's up?" He's almost closing in on 1,000 subs on his Taffy's Lounge page. He's the host of the Nemesis Sessions. James, what's up?
what
Tyler
up,
says, "What's
man?
up?" And also, Omen has a funny one. I mean, it was a good fight against half of the band Kiss, Justin, because Justin's opponents in his match in Indiana, the two guys dressed up in Kiss makeup because one of the wrestlers' father died, was a huge Kiss fan. So they were doing a Kiss tribute. So basically, think of it like instead of Justin and his tag team partner, Rob Slater, wrestling Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, they got basically, the Kiss knockoffs like Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer. Well, that's a run in. Wink, wink. If you're a Kiss fan, you know what I'm talking about. Jake Frost, moving on, says, "I've wrestled on a couple of mats on the floor. I've wrestled anything and everything." Sounds like a guy I'm going to connect you with off the air. And
I
same
can't
here.
wait.
Oh, you'll definitely want to talk to him. And by the way, Tyler Fury says he's down to wrestle on the ground in STB. They're in Illinois, so maybe you got some new recruits.
Hey man, I'm down. Tyler, hit me up, brother. We'll talk soon, man. And
Well, he knows you, right? He knows you.
yeah, but I look, guys, I don't use social media other than pretty much my Twitch, my YouTube, my other shit. I don't use
I'll connect
Facebook.
him. I'll connect him.
So personally on here, I'm not going to give my phone number out, but I will let Tom or anybody in here that wants to get hold of me, my phone number will be available, my email, whatever. We can
I will
connect.
handle these young individuals. They are friends of mine. At least they might be until I give them the info, and then they'll move
Yeah.
on. That's a joke.
Then they're going to block your ass. They're going to block you. They're going to say, "Oh, Tom." They say, "Tom, we're friends with Levi now. We don't need your ass no more. We don't need Sportswire."
Probably. As I tell people all the time, I'm trying a career at stand-up comedy. Maybe that'll work. Will Carroll, my guest last week, tried it. James Taylor didn't want to say hi. I don't know. Where is James Taylor? I thought he was here. Hey, Chaotic. James told me to say it. Just making sure. I didn't know if he hated me. Oh, okay, good enough. Justin Parsley here would like to say, "Trapped under the ladder because I ascend too quickly. If we would have dressed like the Beatles, we would have captured gold." Well, how many Beatles are left again, right? Is it Paul's alive? Is Ringo still alive? Or maybe you would have had to have figured out who could have been Paul, who could have been Ringo. Had a great time. I owe you a show. Appreciate that. I got more comments here. I remember the early AOL chat room days. You've got mail.
Me too. I got a quick one real quick with AOL. I got my family banned. My dad beat the shit out of me for this one. I'm on AOL chat room and I'm typing on there. Listen, I'm like 12 years old at the time. AOL chat. Yeah. And I get in the chat room and I say, any girls in here want to, and then I talk. I don't want to make this inappropriate for Sportswire, but I talk about something that
would be so. I keep telling guys like Omen Black and Big Man Cam, do that on Silverwolf's show. This show is
Silverware's show.
Well, we're respectable now. We have almost 1,000 subscribers. I mean, we're doing bad. I had 20,000 views the last 3 months. I mean, my God, continue.
But I was just a young youth, and I thought I knew a few things about the birds and the bees, and I thought I'd tell the world on AOL chat, and it ended up getting us banned from like MSN or AOL, and my dad called him pissed off. He's like, doo-doo, it will not log in. Our dial-up will not work. And then the customer service is like, well, user Tiger Driver 1990 said, talking about latex condoms and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I'm like, my dad's just like, what the fuck? My son is a little pervert. And then next thing you know, we're off AOL. And, I was at the age when I had no clue what I was talking about. I was just saying these trigger words, thinking that it's cool, trying to chat with girls. That AOL chat was a new thing,
Yeah, that was where, with different world.
Before MySpace. It was before MySpace. That's the only way to chat with the ladies. Kind of if you look at the Napoleon Dynamite, the uncle.
I do remember Facebook. I remember Facebook. I remember Facebook also. I just entered college when Facebook had been created, and Facebook was college emails only. So you only could be on Facebook if you had a college email account, and then they opened it up, and then Facebook, it was just off to the nines. But that was the days. But let's get to some comments because people don't want to hear me talk about being in college with my Facebook email address. She said, no problem, and hope you guys enjoyed it when it came to the cake. So there you go. That was nice of him. And his wife, obviously, referred to.
Oh, hell yeah.
Will definitely give me your, I'll take care of Mr. Frost. Definitely will take care of that. I got you, brother. Sending message now. There you go. See what you mean. I followed. Just need one back. I'll take care of these guys off the air for sure. One day I'm going to pop up on OVW. Interesting.
Hell yeah.
Good one. I would love that. I'd love to see that. He's definitely the Samoan Dragon. I got some more comments. Let me get to him. I got a lot more comments still. We might be here a while. Man, I watched Ring of Honor, current and past. I watched Dragon Gate, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Noah, DDT, which I prefer. I watch Aussie stuff. Yeah, there is a couple of Aussie indie things, and also CMML sometimes. Those are some well-rounded ones. Those are some.
I've done. Let's see. I've done tryout matches with Dragon Gate and also New Japan, but Noah never worked for them. DDT had never worked for them. They had a kick-ass restaurant in Shinjuku. There was a bar restaurant that the wrestlers worked at. The Japanese wrestlers worked just regular jobs, often for someone in the promotion. And I had some friends there. As far as CMLL goes, guys, it's not the best. I'm a big lucha fan. CMLL, the best thing about it is that they got the historic arena in Mexico, and it's the oldest promotion in the world of any existence. It's CMLL of all wrestling. So it has that historic value, but it's not overall a great product right now. But it's got that historic value, and it's pretty badass in itself. That's my opinion on those.
Before I bring Omen on, how did you get over the language barrier in Japan? I think that's an interesting question. How were you able to adjust to the language barrier?
I studied quite a bit. Ohayou gozaimasu, biru namimasen ka? I learned how to speak, man. I learned how to talk. I learned how to get around. I made friends. The first thing I did when I got there was I found a girlfriend, and I made her like my associate, like my manager. That's typically been the theme in my career, is try to find a be willing woman that's a fan of some sorts to kind of handle that sort of thing. And I kind of had that started for me in Japan, and she kind of did all my paperwork. And but it was really me hustling a lot, and she helped me introduce, like, that initial call maybe I had to make. And then once they knew I was foreigner, they gave me more leeway. And as far as in the ring goes, I didn't really talk to him. I just went out there and did my thing.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, let me get to some more things. Yeah, definitely, we all would encourage Il Drago to go to OVW. And I love Il Drago. I speak to him very regularly. Just a awesome dude. Just guys like him I root for. Guys like Chaotic I root for. Guys like Jake Frost, who's become a recent addition. Tyler Fury's become an addition. I mean, I root for everybody on the platform. Love the IMF and love all the advice I receive from Levi himself. Whenever I hear advice, I take it. That's already well said. Very well said. Very well said. I love Tyler Fury. A much appreciated brother, and I couldn't quite do the Mephisto voice, but we'll pretend like we did it.
Hell yeah, brother.
McDaniels, can you help me better my promos? Well, when I connect, you can obviously talk to him about that, because I can't help anybody with anything, really.
I can. Just we'll talk later.
Exactly. I figured that somebody would get the hint. Hello there. I believe this is Il Drago's cousin, if I'm not mistaken. How you doing there? Stop by to say hi, and maybe are you playing Halo right now while you're watching? Because you got the Halo thing, maybe. So, do people still play Halo? By the way, is like Halo such a thing?
There's Halo Infinite that's out on Xbox Series X right now, and that's an online. That's still multiplayer. I used to
play Halo Reach. I used to play Halo 2. I used to play
Halo Infinite's cool. I was just playing it up until my Game Pass expired, and I didn't want to renew it because I didn't have the cash. But Halo Infinite, basically, they have all the maps from the first 3 or 4 games, and you're still doing your online deathmatch, and it's a lot of fun. There's guys in their 30s and 40s nostalgic playing it, and there's not a lot of little kids.
Into gaming, during COVID, I got into it, but I'd be honest, the last 2-3 years doing this, I'm on every night. I don't have time to play Xbox.
No, I feel you. I've been streaming a lot too. I'm going to stream some old school or Xbox original games
And then
the
you
rest
do a
of this
lot of
week.
2K stuff too, which I'm going to put your YouTube back up here shortly. But Mr. Parsley would like to say Levi's got one of the best minds in our business, and his willingness to help anybody, caps lock, speaks volumes. Cannot thank this man enough. Looking forward to more.
Always,
So,
bro. Thank you. And
that was
dude,
nice
I just love it too much not to do what I can to help, man. I feel so anytime you can be involved in anything with wrestling is a blessing, whether it's just setting up or it's tearing down or you're wrestling in the main event. And I've always just tried to just stay humble, man, and do what I can. I always want to be involved.
To quote Twisted Sister, stay hungry. And Mephisto did say Eric Carr was number one. Yes, and I mentioned Eric Singer because Eric Carr was actually the one member of KISS that wasn't the original that did actually pretty well. Sportswire is number one. Well, thank you, Omen. It's your show, so you obviously would like Sportswire to be number one. So you obviously want to make sure you're number one yourself. But Jake would like to say, though, a couple things. I got to disagree about CMML. It's been very good of late. Though I haven't watched in a while, the last thing I watched was the full thing with the Danielson Panther match, so it's been slacking, LOL. And then he said here, also, speaking of people that I know are out on the road, the controversial one, Cato's in the house. Cato is on his way to the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament in the great state of Massachusetts. I think he's somewhere in the Mason-Dixon line of the north and kind of the south. I think he's right now in either Kentucky or Ohio. I hope he's doing well with us. I know we hope he's safe on the road. Maybe we'll pop him on for a few minutes at the end, but we have a lot to catch up with Mr. McDaniel. But he is wrestling. Very excited about that. And we'll see if he comes away with the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Championship. So good to see Cato and another like-minded friend. Il Drago would like to say this. I previously got the chance to sit down and mash minds with Levi McDaniel this previous event, and we talked about something that's meant a lot to us in wrestling. Much respect and love, Oos. And speaking of people that we always love to give and share respect to, I think he's here now, is Mr. Omen Black, the Boogeyman. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Mr. Black.
Levi McDaniel. How's it going, buddy?
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woo.
You know what it is, my man.
Would you sit on your camera or what? Come on.
I just didn't want to show my ugly face.
Damn.
What are you talking about? Come on, Omen. We're live in prime time. It's your show.
I'm looking rough.
God damn, dude.
I mean, compared to Silverwolf, compared to other previous people that have been on here, are you really that rough looking?
I mean, the camera doesn't show it like as well, but like my face is all fucked up.
Maybe you got to do like the TV makeup. Maybe you should go on Amazon and get some of that like TV stuff that they put on.
I got fucking staples, cuts, bumps.
I know. Ox McCoy tagged me on Instagram and shared what you guys were doing to each other. I'm well aware. I was a collaborator on the Instagram post.
He fucked my night up. I'll tell you.
He was showing, and guys were loving it on TikTok. By the way, Jake Dvorak was like, "Wow, I really want to wrestle Ox McCoy after he saw."
Let me comment on that match real quick without spoiling it.
Yes, sir.
That match, I had so much fun calling that as commentary, and I'm not going to spoil it because people haven't seen it yet. But
please don't spoil.
The only thing I'm going to say is that there was something happened in the crowd. I'm not going to mention what, with a fan, and we had the ambulance and the sheriff showed up to the venue during the match. And this is a War Games 5-on-5 match where we got the tables, we got the fucking light tubes, we got chairs, all chaos, dude. And we've got the medical team over there with this fan. And we've got the sheriff there, and they're just looking around like, what the fuck are we into? Like, they're watching, like, Soldier's just fucking, he's not paying any attention to what's going on. He's just blasting dudes, boom, boom, boom. And they're outside the ring, and then Soldier's doing his thing right by the sheriff, and they're cussing, and they're rolling around on the floor. And then there's blood everywhere, and then there's Ox with the fucking light tubes. Then there's Ox with his fucking head just gusset plated right there. And I'm like, God damn it, get this dude a towel, man. And all hell is breaking loose, guys, during this match. I can't wait till you see it here on the IMF's page. And just the atmosphere for that match was a lot of fun. And I'm glad to see Omen here, and I'm glad to see everyone who survived that match because I'll do a little spoiler yet. We get to see a little fan involvement from a family member on young Felix Jones, and that's about the only spoiler I will give on the match.
Yes, thank
Overall,
you,
guys, this is a
Levi.
wild,
Thank you
crazy
for
one.
that. I really appreciate that you didn't give any spoilers. What a
Absolutely
very-
not. It's just a wild,
Thank
crazy match you're not going to want to miss.
Sounds like
I am
welcome to
fucking
Not
F.
at all.
yes, Omen. It's your
I
show.
think no, it's a match you don't want to miss at all. I had it
Yes.
was just war. It was all out war. Like that's the name
That
of the
was the name
match.
of the
That's
show,
what it
obviously,
was.
right? The name of the show.
Yep. And it was fun man. It was a good match to do commentary and be involved with.
Well, I'm glad that you were a part of it. And Mr. McCoy obviously said, he wanted you again to, no comment. No comment.
Yeah, that son of a bitch hit me right in the face with a light tube.
Was that the plan, or was
I think he did you a favor. Shit.
Give me the mask. Let me wear the mask for a little bit.
No, he's got the mask. You have to find another mask.
I need the mask. I'm only going to get older, uglier, and the more I'm out and about, I'm trying to conceal my identity. I'm tired of people in town here knowing who I am.
Well, it must have been because I saw in Jovi's vlog you guys were walking the that parade there, right? You guys were walking. I saw flyers being posted. I saw Dirty was walking around. I saw Jovi with his America bandana on. I saw you and Soldier were in a truck, right? You guys were waving them to people. I saw that on Jovi's vlog. You remember anything about that, Omen?
Yeah, I remember exactly. Yeah, we Palo Fun Days had a parade.
What was that like? I thought that was really fascinating. I'm sure we could talk about that. Jovi posted
It was an experience. I'll tell you that. It was nice seeing all the kids get excited. Like, heard a couple kids, they're doing wrestling. Let's go watch. So it was fun listening to all the kids that didn't know about IMF or didn't watch wrestling got excited. So it was a lot of fun.
Something you like to do again, I would think, right?
Without a doubt, I would do it tomorrow if they asked me.
Well, are you having another one before summer ends?
I'll just go make my own parade. I'll just do the same route. Hopefully they'll be outside watching.
That was fun, though. I mean, it was nice to be able to be about in the community. Is that something that you guys maybe, like, I know we talked about the announcement a week and a half ago about, going downtown, but, like, is there, like, would that be something you guys could do more? Like, is that something you guys would want to do, like, whether it's, I don't know if you guys do, like, fairs, community, but that's kind of cool. We're seeing, like, Jovi showing you guys were a part. I think that would be kind of a fun thing to see you guys do it more. And obviously it lets people know about the great product you have and, an exciting roster and a lot of great stuff ahead. I hope that there's a way to, I don't know if you guys have block parties or, things like that. We have them here, like block parties. People show up.
We have block parties, and trust me, if we would love to be part of a block party or just like a community event. Just like a couple weeks ago, I was picking up Soldier to go to the ring, and right next to his house, like a block over, they were having a block party, and we were like, how the hell do we get involved in this? And so we scouted through the internet, we're trying to find who's in charge, who to contact, who not to contact, and whatnot. And so we've been looking into that, and fairs, like right now, I think like parades and fairs kind of like dying down because going back to school.
Yeah, well, in New York, we don't go back until 2 weeks. We have 2 more because New York, it's different. They, we love our teachers, but they get lots of days off, lots of them in New York.
That's they got a union there probably for the teachers.
The most powerful one maybe in the world. Yes, the most they get days off like they have the first day of school, then they get 2 days off like the next week.
Do teachers there get affordable like a living wage? Because they don't here, I don't think.
Living wage, they make like. You know what they make? Like they're like the good teacher. A couple years, he makes like 90 grand, 100 grand. Forget about it. They make like the money they make as teachers. We love our teachers on Sportswire. Thank you for being teachers. But in New York, they make a lot of money.
Here they probably make like 40 to 50.
They make it in New York for a couple years. No, not New York. No, New York is different. But So obviously, Omen, we don't get Levi on here often. We've been listening to Levi.
I just wanted to thank him personally and thank for all his help and support to IMF and, letting IMF be a part of LMFP and what you do as a company. And I just wanted to thank you, man, for being a brother and a mentor.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, man. Let the good times roll. We're just getting started. That's what I keep saying, man. It's just getting going. That's
You
the
also,
small everything. Everything so far is just a small blip on the radar, is the way I look at it.
oh yeah, man. And there's always one thing I want to remember when you saying "shocker, baby." Never forget.
Yeah, you guys have been saying it all night. I hear Justin Parsley's even mentioned it. I seen Ox mentioned it. I mean, all you guys mentioned this whole thing there. I guess we'll see more about it because you guys have another show next month. I hear right next month. You do every month. You have one next month, so
Yeah, for now until we get the new venue.
which is
Coming.
November, by the way. Levi, how exciting is that? For the company to get into a venue downtown. You were talking about the distance. I know there's more comments. We'll get to them, but how exciting is that? You think for the company to get a new venue downtown? What do you think that'll be like from your experience?
And it's downtown Cedar Rapids, Omen.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's epic. That's going to be huge. That's a game changer. This is the next level. Every show matters, but we're going to have more eyes on us here downtown Cedar Rapids. We're going to have more fans, and it's going to be epic. So we need to just go out there, have a good show, and kill it. And I wouldn't count Palo out. I don't know what the future plans are for that, but it maybe if
Palo's is our home, but we have multiple homes now.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. So I think it's definitely we got to do as much as we can in that area, and the more we do, the more fast we do. It's hard to do it all, but it sticks more with the fans, and it gets IMF beat in their brains whether they like it or not. When they see it in Cedar Rapids, when they see it in Palo, when they see it on the Sportswire, the Facebook, all that stuff, they don't have a choice. It's there whether they like it or not. They can stay their ass home and bitch online about it, or they can go show up and have a good time. That's the option.
I think they're gonna have a lot of good times ahead because we're very excited about the IMF, and I'll get to more comments in a second. But there's a lot of links all throughout the night I've been putting up. You got to support the IMF. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Get in touch with them. They've got another show next month. Very excited about it. Every month there's an IMF show. I donate one ticket. I always make sure I donate one ticket so somebody can go out there. And, I always try to support the guys. And let me get to some more comments. First of all, I want to say hello to somebody taking notes tonight, the evil Angel Judas, who, Omen, he called out your brother Darkron. Did you hear about this guy Judas? He had a lot to say about Darkron. What'd you think about that?
I know about Judas. I know that he called out Kron and all this.
He was disrespected by Darkron, by the way. Your guy's brother in the foundation, he was disrespected by him. He felt that he should have came over to him, shook his hand after he won the Golden Goal. This young man, Levi, you would have appreciated this young man. He nearly died, and a couple days later went out and won a Rumble and a gauntlet match. And all of a sudden now he's like a big deal in the backyard circuit. He felt that Darkron disrespected him, and he felt Darkron should have just passed over the torch in the Ohio backyard circuit and given it to him.
Well, if I know Darkron, he's not just going to roll over and hand anything to anybody.
No, he's not.
We'll see what happens. I wasn't there, but I haven't seen all the clips, but we'll see what happens. I know we haven't seen the last of Darkron.
No, we have not. And boy, did those two it took Big Man Cam even and other people to break those two up, Judas and Darkron. They don't like each other.
Exactly.
He's counting Darkron out before he's even been in the ring with Darkron.
Well, he looks at it like he's beat death. Last week at this time he was fighting death. He couldn't eat for 40 hours, and he feels like Darkron's no big deal. I could beat him. I beat death.
He couldn't eat. He couldn't eat for 40 hours. What was the problem?
Here's the thing,
diabetes. He had like a really bad form of diabetes, and he was in ICU for a couple of days.
I thought maybe he went to the Chinese buffet. Maybe.
No comment on that.
Darkron's also fighting death. So,
well, the winner, I guess, shows they fought death better.
I mean, everyone knows about Kron's medical issue.
We do.
I mean,
we do. Yes, we do. But we do.
Don't count Darkron out enough. Like don't count him out because Darkron is probably one of the best that I've stepped in the ring with.
Oh, I love Darkron. I'm loving the work he's putting out there in ROW. But Chaotic says me and Omen Black hardcore deathmatch.
Do you really want to do that to yourself? Because I'm more than happy to do it.
He had a funny line. In Tennessee, they make 50 to 60K a year, but they suck because they didn't teach him anything. Okay, thank you for that, I suppose. If the camera adds 10 pounds, how many cameras are on Omen right now? Stop DMing me about reverse shot.
Oh, wow.
Tell your wife to stop watching Sportswire for me. Next comment.
With the wife references there. Boy, those wife references there. Well, I guess we'll have to see. And Chaotic is speaking to Mr. Parsley. And he says, also, by the way, actually, Mr. Chaotic responds, I'll pass, brother. You got all that. So he was kidding. He wasn't actually. I got this. I do want to follow up on this because I guess he was smarter than Atomic Titan.
Is he even the Hardcore King anymore?
No, he's like a renegade now or something like that. He's like, I think TBW's show is coming soon, the Go Home show. I think he's like a renegade now. He lost to Alan Michaels, who was here on Sunday. Well, obviously, Omen, you know very well. And speaking of people, Big Man Cam is here. And Judas struggled to beat Sugar, but thinks he can beat Darkron. What an L guy. That's
Big Man Cam, he's on it. He's on point.
Did you guys see that Big Man Cam met, Levi, I know you have met some big legends. You've wrestled some legends, but apparently Big Man Cam had not one but two occasions where he met Hulk Hogan yesterday. He met him twice in one day.
He met Hulk Hogan.
Twice in one day.
Yeah, I've worked with Hulk Hogan before back in Micro Championship Wrestling. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yes, that was the promotion. I do remember that. That was the thing that Eric Bischoff was talking about.
I'm gonna bounce y'all, Levi.
Thank you,
Love
sir.
you, brother. Tom,
Peace, bro.
Same always. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
Although my work with Hogan was brief, that's where it was at. But I'm guessing this guy met him at the beer tour because he's trying to promote that real American beer and all that right now.
Big Man Cam's even allowing me to show the footage, but I actually could put the footage up. But yeah, he met him in Columbus, Ohio. Is it Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, he's out there in Ohio. Yeah, because Hogan. He made a controversial racist joke about Kamala Harris on one of his beer tours. I made a video about it. So, there's that, I guess.
I did see that, and I'm going to take a stay and plead the fifth on that. But what I will do is actually, since after all, Mr. Big Man Cam granted permission because he gave me I gave him a cameo once, or he gave me a cameo. I am going to put it up here right on the screen. So for those listening and watching, we can see Big Man Cam and the Hulkster. So I'm actually going to put it up here right now. I should actually have it. Yep, I got it right here. What a world we live in, right? Big Man Cam, and now all of a sudden the chat's fired up. There it is. Yep, we see it right there. Big there it is. We won't get copyright sued, but there it is.
Let me show you something, Tom, real quick from Levi's collection.
Oh, I would love to see your collection because it's hopefully bigger than Big Man Cam's.
Well, it is.
Good.
But I'm just playing, Cam. I'm just joking. But I told you I knew Hogan. I met him from the Micro Championship Wrestling, but it wasn't the first time a young Levi had met the Hulkster. I don't know if you could see that picture or not.
Yeah. I do. I saw it. I caught it. No, it was good. I saw it. I definitely saw it. Yep, I see it right there.
That's a young Levi. I don't know. I'm kind of hard to see.
Well, we knew you were going to be a legend. Also, yep, Atomic Titan lost the gimmick. Yes, he did lose. I did show the picture. Really, Cam, that's a lot coming from Rosa's. Well, we're not going to get into Rosa references here. Chaotic, I'm into that stuff. Please don't get me going. I don't know what's talking about. Let's get to some more comments. I see a whole bunch of other things here, and I have no idea where I'm going with this. Chaotic, I'm into that stuff. Okay, what the hell? I'd love to wrestle with you as well. It was Columbus. Yes, it was Columbus. Great comeback from Kyla's second favorite. Oh, I don't know who Kyla is. I'm moving on. You can come up and wrestle us anytime. Just let us know, or I can come down when I'm cleared up. Dude, that's awesome for you. And sending prayers. Well, we don't need to send prayers to DKW right now. Darkron's okay. He doesn't want prayers. He just wants to beat up Judas. We've spoke a lot tonight. Anything LMFP you'd like to further promote? Anything else on that note you'd like to talk about for the audience that I should know? I'll put your YouTube link back up. Anything else on that you'd like to talk about that's important for us to?
Sure. The LMFP project, guys, this is a project from passion. I've got high hopes. Like I said, the new ring, the actual facility for the training that's going to be used for studio. I'm planning on turning this Sunday into a regular filming content for the internet. Uh, Another thing about LMFP that most people don't realize is I'm I'm a big guy. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a humanist. So most of everything I do has some aspect with charity involved. All the live shows I've done where fans come, I'm not talking about the underground shows with just the ring up and filming, but my live shows oftentimes are free or free entry, and they will be some donation that will be accepted. And I always will do like a food drive, or I also do a canned drive because
Good.
I like to donate the food to the needy. My main mission is not just for the great LM or for LMFP, is to fight for the hungry and to fight for the earth. Those are the two biggest things I believe in, other than loving professional wrestling and of course like my family and stuff. I'm not
Mhm.
religious, so I'm really into fighting for the earth and fighting for the hungry. So I've got an idea that I want to take this even further. And
Yeah,
I'm
go for
talking
it.
about once we have the ring and having it up, I'm talking about like the homeless drives. I'm talking about LMFP because I love to cook too, having a soup kitchen where I fucking serve all these homeless this and we put on wrestling for them. I've got all these just ideas of things I want to do to help people, man. I've
Well, if
worked
there's
in.
something we could do on Sportswire, I'm sure that there's even I know we're not in Iowa, if we can send a donation or send something, along the way, we would definitely want to do something when the shows get up. Obviously, there's people, I think a lot of us are all in the community. A lot of us are all either fans or wrestlers that are here. So I think that, I'm sure a lot of people here, you've had a really great response, and a lot of people are here in the chat. I think that they would, be happy to support in some form. We have a lot of people that have
Yeah,
watched it over
and
an hour and a
we'll
half.
get it going. I like to keep it simple, like simply canned food drive. Or here in Iowa, I recycle pop cans and bottles, and
Okay,
that's great for the environment. And
sure.
it's little money that can be used for either, to give to someone that needs it, or these homeless guys. When I see them, oftentimes I'm just giving them a hot meal, and then I'll give them any other stuff that's been donated. But I got this way, man, because I've traveled the world. I've seen the lower end of the world, and I've had personal work experiences in what some would consider the American ghettos, where I've seen crime, I've seen murders, I've worked in places that I've women have been getting abused, and I've had to break in a door to help them. I've been in situations here where people have needed help, and it's made me sick seeing a young boy that I've met, maybe 10 years old, talking about wanting to be a soldier, wanting to be a Marine. And then I see him 2 years later and he's gang banging and he's breaking into cars and he's went down the wrong path. And I've seen a lot of this stuff, and I've worked in these areas, and I'm just the type of person that what can we do? What can we all do? Well, you can't do much, but you can do something. And if you have a platform, you can use that to engage and try to help. And that's
Absolutely.
all I'm trying to use is I've got wrestling. That's my thing, and that's me. So I want to use wrestling to help in other ways. And I don't have all the answers for that, but those are some ideas that I've done and used. And a lot of it's just going back and donating food, or just trying to help the earth by cleaning up.
I agree on all
That's
that. I'm a believer in, obviously, people should use logic, and if you can help those and you have the opportunities, and, I always offer it, obviously on this platform, we support anybody that's doing things. I've done, it was last year, a young girl had, died, and we did a don't thing for her. And, there was another situation we helped out in, with somebody being sick with cancer. So, they're
I got an idea,
definitely,
Tom. Here's what I
yes, sir.
want help with, and maybe one of either you or one of the viewers can help me. Um,
Sure.
I really would like to do an event or two, or just some themes that help with climate control and some other issues. But whenever you see events like this, it's always like, oh, it's a charity awareness, or it's a suicide awareness, or climate
Yeah.
awareness. Those are all great things, but what is awareness really? Can we really do something more tangible with these events to actually help? Those are the answers I'm trying to wrap my brain around. Suicide prevention is great. Anything mental health is great. Anything environment's great. How do we do more than just putting that attached to a show? How do we actually outreach and help these people? Those
Mhm.
are all the things that I'm constantly stuck in my OCD head
Well,
trying
we're
to
all stuck in it because these
trying
are
to think,
problems
man.
that we still deal with, and 2024, we're here with Mr. Levi McDaniel. Levi, of course, is the general
Yes.
manager of the IMF. He's the man behind Levi McDaniel Fight Promotions. He's the legendary White Angel, the Belfast Bulldog. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. If you're here on YouTube, hit the sub button for me. It's Sportswire Radio 6579. I see Levi's gotten some new subscribers. I see the subscriber count went up. I just saw, so very happy about that. So if you're here, also hit the sub button for me. I would really appreciate it. But let me get to some more comments here before we get to some final things. Hey, for anyone that wants to come to ALW, we now have legal Mary Jane. Oh, I see what that is. I'm like, what's Mary Jane? I get it now. So if anybody said that, if you'd like to come to his company because of legal reasons, I guess you can fill in what that might be, and he'll help you out getting married.
Where's that at?
Oh, they're in Ohio. They're in right by Summer Bash. They're in Marion, Ohio. So they're like 2 hours away from where Summer Bash was. I don't know if you were, where.
I know where that is.
Okay, figured that.
There used to be an independent promotion called like Saw or something out there that wanted me to go work at some point. I don't know.
Cam worked one indie show. He might even know him. I don't know.
Yeah, I know those guys. I got a funny story about that promoter real quick. I'm sitting with James Storm in a tour bus in Chicago. Me and James Storm, I think he's having a few beers. I believe I'm sober at that point. And this promoter from that, I believe it's SAW out there in Marion, he walks on the bus and he says to the promoter of the show, he's like, "Oh, are these guys your workers? Are these workers? Are these wrestlers?" And it's James Storm and me sitting right there. You should have seen Cowboy James Storm's fucking face, dude. If any of you guys see James Storm, ask him, "Are you one of the workers?" And he's gonna get pissed. And he might remember that moment because every time I see James Storm since, I walk up to him and say, "Are you one of the workers? Are you one of the workers?" That's how I always say hello to James Storm now. But
wow.
that promoter from Marion, that Ohio, he walked on the bus like a complete idiot with his girlfriend or his wife. I think she's a promoter too. And he's just like,
"Well, he shouldn't be promoted. You don't know who James Storm is, like."
I don't know. It was just a weird thing, but
I was going to say that's a weird one. Okay, let me get to some more comments.
Nice guy though.
Well, he might be nice, but didn't know anything. He's referencing Judas about the sugar. I'll take care of that. Want to say hello to my friend Jonathan Lazukas. Jonathan, I saw here with my friend Will Carroll. Will from Total Effing Chaos. Guys like hardcore. Guys you've probably been in a scene with. I think they're here next month. Thank you, Jonathan, for tuning in. Good to see Jonathan. Love our friends in Total Effing Chaos in the punk world. Got it. Saw. He said one of the guys working at ALW worked there. Was this when was this that it happened?
Dude, it's been a few years ago since that story I told. Like whenever I wrestled Christopher Daniels in Chicago, somewhere it's probably 3, 4, 5 years ago now. I don't really remember. It all kind of runs together. It's on my website too. You can look at my match list.
I have the website link right here in front of me. I'm glad that you brought that up because I actually have, if you want to talk to Mr. McDaniels and get into his website, there is his website where you can see all the stuff that he has. You can see all the things that he's up to, merchandise. You got ad affiliate stuff. You want to get to support people. You got also some biography stuff, links, history, dates, advertising, everything else in between. Twitch, there he is. We'll ignore that photo because he's different now. But the point is,
it's all good. That's the spoiler.
Well,
it's the spoiler.
We hate spoilers.
If you want to see how I look, you got to go to the sites. That's the deal with the mask.
They're
not
going to see it again, but they can click the link. But that's the website. Please support Levi McDaniel. The man has been so generous with his time tonight. He was just there. I've tried to work there because if I can work there full time, it opens my door into the pro world 100%. Because Big Man Cam, I believe, has 2 years training, right? Big Man Cam. He's actually had one match in the Indies, and he is think almost trained. Yeah.
How big is this guy?
6'5", like with a size 39 shoe, with he's like 360 pounds. He's like as big as Bigfoot. I mean, he's been on here before.
Well, I got some advice for him, but it just depends on the path he wants to take, and everybody's different. So he can message me if he wants to talk.
I'll take care of that. I add that other gentleman to the list. I'll take care of that for you. I'll take care of that. Thank you, Big Man Cam, for always. So I guess obviously then before we move on to final thoughts, is there anything else you want to say to the audience tonight or anything else? I mean, I hope we get you here more often because this was a lot of fun. We need to get you here back more because this was like I really enjoyed what you bring in. Thank you for all you do for our sport. I mean, what would you like to say to anybody before we get to closing thoughts? Anything else, sir, that you'd like to add or to say?
Yeah, so anybody who's on here who supported me ever, thank you. Thank you everyone for the continued support. Anybody who thinks that I'm done because my injury, they got another thing coming, dude, because I'm just getting rolling. I'm getting rocking and rolling. Uh, I've I'm just getting started, and I've got big plans for LMFP. I really just I really need a good group of guys who's willing to come along for the ride and trust me on this. And guys, if you're down to come Sundays, that's my best day. We're gonna make some videos. We'll make some magic for the YouTube. You do whatever character you want. You use the videos to help promote yourself
Well, we
too,
got 4 or 5
have
guys
a
in the
good
chat
time,
at
man.
least. It was 4 to
And if
5 guys. I promised I'll connect.
and I'm in central Iowa. If I can be of use to your backyard fed, your underground fed, your indie fed of any sorts, whether it's something I can do from home or physically at your show, I'm not against traveling out. Just have to talk to me. Might be able to make it happen. I'm trying to get out more in 2024, guys. This injury has really had me kept up, and uh, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff I want to do in 2024, but mainly I want to support everybody here that's been a fan of Sportswire. Not only the fan, the other wrestlers that are in the group, any guy out there that wants to improve, the guys out there that want to get better and keep being the best they can. Those are the guys I really want to help the most. So if you're in this and it's more to you than just a hobby, if it's more than you than just a passion, if it's an obsession and wrestling is in your mind no matter what, all day, every day, and you just can't kick it. You just can't get it out of your head, and you're like me. Please connect with me, and I'll do what I can to help you. That's all I can say.
I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, this is just the show that we needed tonight on Sportswire. This just continues what really the message has been lately, and this is what it's about. Connecting people, open collaboration, all wrestling matters, but just working with people and just forgetting about whatever it was, whatever it is. We have too much things that are going on in the world. Mr. McDaniel talked about stuff that are real everyday issues. He talked about the homeless. He's talked about climate change. He talked about, the economy. He talked about the world. And we have our sport
And
of wrestling. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
one more thing, man. I'll give everybody here a first exclusive too that I may have touched on or some people might know. For Sportswire Insider, look at LM and update on my injury with my shoulder. If you know who Paul Orndorff is and you've seen how he has that fucked up skinny arm and you
Yep.
made fun of him when you were a kid like I did, well, that's what I'm dealing with now. I've lost all muscle in my left shoulder. If I take my shirt off and you see from the back, there's no muscle there. I've lost pretty much all muscle in my arm. My triceps pretty much gone. I still have some in my bicep, but I don't have that feeling. I'll just give you a little. Here's my fuck. I don't know if I can hold right.
Well,
Here's my
don't worry
right.
about it. You hurt.
That's
Wow.
my right. Normal arm.
Wow.
My left. My biceps there, but I can't flex. And I'm just weak. I just got a small
Well,
little my
I'm
left arm.
sorry. I feel bad to,
Look at my left. That's my left arm.
I see it. I see it.
There's nothing left, boy.
Well, this
compared
is
to my
what
right.
happens. Unfortunately, this is wrestling is real. For those that think that it's not real, the advice is, ladies and gentlemen, it is real.
Yeah,
Things
and it's
can happen.
nerve damage happens. So that's the last thing I want to say, guys. Be safe out there because we're not all trained in here. I know there's a lot of guys here that just haven't had that opportunity to train or to know. Just try being safe, man. It's hard to say that because when I was younger, I took so many unnecessary bumps. I did anything I could to make the match, but my nerves are so messed up, guys, and my body hurts, and I don't wish this pain I have upon anybody. I try to carry that toughness around me I've had for so long in my career, but I'm at that point where I have such a heavy heart and it's so heavy on my mind that it's not who I am as a person to try to walk around tough. I'm not. I'm a sweet, innocent, caring person behind the mask, behind the persona, behind the craziness. It's all it's all a show with me. It's everything. The true Levi is very simple, and you know, I'm nothing compared to what my character is, and I'm at a desperate time mentally. My mental health is at its all-time low because of my physical
Well, if there's
state,
anything
and
I can do, please reach out. I mean, if there's, I know I'm a little old guy on the totem pole, but if you just want to talk, I mean, listen, I am open-minded, open. I know people get mad at me because I don't talk a lot, go off the air because I do these shows every night. But seriously, if there is something you're just feeling low, I'm happy to talk to you, even for 2 minutes. If you want to text me something, because if you are feeling, I mean, I know, I realize I'm just a little old guy. You've been there with some of the biggest people in the history of this sport. But if there is something I could do, please let me know. I mean, I am available. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Tom. And I'm going to say this, bro, because this is why I love the backyard of the Sportswire and the Underground and the IMF and all these guys that are on here, this community, because I've had more support from this than any of my brothers that I've met in the professional wrestling business along the way. From the backyarders, the Underground, the Sportswire guys, I've had more support from my fans and from people on here than people that I thought were my friends throughout the last decade and a half.
We want to be friends. I think a lot of
So
people, we like to be friends. We're all on the same team. I think, I think people like, if
it's
there's something we all could do, I think people care about you. At least
I made a video about using, you only have one body. So I'm really trying to emphasize, guys, you're just gonna. I woke up one day in my mid-30s, dude, and I'm like, everything is fucked on me. And then I'm realizing everything's getting worse. And then I have a match, and before I could have 3 matches in a week at a good pace. Now it's like, bam, have a match, and I can barely get out of bed for a week. And it's just my body's been because of surgery, not been able to work out overall. My weight's dropped. Tom, I'm under 170 pounds right now. The highest I weighed when I was wrestling was up to 240.
Wow.
Yes, I'm so malnourished right now. I don't have an appetite. I've just got a lot going on. So, I can sit here and be positive, like I'm going to have a good, strong comeback to the ring. But right now I'm focusing on my health, to be honest, and focusing on what I can do to give back to wrestling, because I really don't know, as far as a performer goes, it's gonna be a long fight for me to get back there to be able to be at the caliber I was, and if I can even get that. So I'm just doing the best I can with what I've got, and I want to support everybody else coming in and help who I can, and just be of use to what I can do. Because right now, man, I can't lift, I can't put anybody above my head, I can't body slam, I can only do a few moves right now. I've got one arm that works right. I can't be lifting and slamming, and I can't be climbing the ropes. I don't have strength to do one push-up right now. It's a work in progress, Tom. So thanks again for having me, man. This has been a blast, and I hope it's an insight for some people. And if they take something from this, please
we
connect
needed
with
this
me.
tonight. We needed this because this was a reality check for a lot of people, and I'm glad. It really is poetic, and I do believe that. Again, I know you're not religious, but I do believe that things happen for a reason, and God does have His way of working in ways. And this show is so very much in line with a lot of the last 5 or 6 shows, and I think this will be a message for people, and I'm glad that we had this tonight, and it really was what we needed. Hogan did tell me to wear knee pads as a piece of advice. He said, always, 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 even in practice. That was nice of the Hulkster.
And big man Cam on that, dude. I never wore knee pads earlier on in my career, and it was actually beautiful Bobby Eaton. I was on an independent show with him, and Bobby Eaton was the nicest pro I met, and he told me, hey, brother, you ain't going to wear knee pads. Pretty much the same thing Hogan said to you. You got to wear knee pads, and he offered me to wear his knee pads. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. So, hell of a guy. Pretty cool.
He was a legend.
Yeah,
oh,
wear
my
your knee
goodness.
pads.
Bobby Eaton. He was maybe the greatest wrestler to ever come from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. I think he might be.
I loved his finisher, bro. I love that hitting that leg drop from
Bobby
the top,
Eaton,
dude.
Boy, I mean, he was just
one of the best.
Legend. I mean, a guy that just gets. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame in WWE? And speaking of people that want to say something nice to you, my buddy who's got a heart of a warrior, he's certainly the legendary Mr. Vegas Storm from future Atlanta Pro Wrestling. I know he's coming back to the platform, I think, next week. I have to hammer the date. I like the attitude, Levi McDaniel. Stay strong, man. Tonight was well needed, man. Your words said a lot. Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling, who returns, by the way, 2 weeks from Saturday. We all support you, man. reach out, and I'll connect you to Vega. I got this. I see a lot of people. I'm going to connect you. I know what my job is. I'm going to connect all the people here to connect to you so we can build that support system, because there are people that, anything you can do, Mr. McDaniel, for them. And we're here for you, Mr. McDaniel. I mean, we want you.
Right on, man.
I know we're going to pray for you. I am going to pray for you tonight. I don't know why, but I am going to pray. I know you're not religious, but I'll still pray for you.
Well, put it this way, Tom. I when I say not religious, I don't necessarily believe in my affiliation with a church, but I do believe in a higher power or an energy. We just can't explain exactly all the things that's just my own personal belief. But I appreciate any prayer or thoughts anybody has.
Speaking of other people, the Deathmatch Werewolf, who's going to Massachusetts to compete in the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament, who's getting ready to go on a plane. Our very good friend, Mr. Mac 10, said, "Got your back, man." See, we all got your back. A lot of people, this is what people needed to hear tonight, that this is really what we need. This is the Levi McDaniel. Look at what he's going through. We got to figure this out, and we got to just support each other. And this is just, thank you for this is really what I think a lot of people in this chat, they heard this, and this was a reality check that they ever got. Not for me, because I need a million reality checks, but if this is for our wrestlers here, trust me, I'm lost. I'm a lost cause already. There's no hope for me at this point, but there's a lot of hope for a lot of people here in this chat, and I'm glad that we got a chance to see someone like you with your stature talk with us. And also, Mr. Mac 10 would like to say, trust me, I've had a bad knee, and I've had two surgeries on my knee, so he feels you. So there you go, see? He knows, and yes, we say hello to Mac. We thank him for that, Zilla. Yes, but we hope his knee is feeling better, because he has to get on a plane soon. So hopefully, Mac, your knee's okay. But I really want to see you here more often. I really think it's an absolute crime that you haven't been here now as much. But hopefully this changes now. And we can have you here more often. So hopefully I can see you here regularly, because I think this is what we needed tonight. People were really like, what a great show this was. I got to say, I was saying this to Mac off the last 5 or 6 shows. I think have been some of the best shows we've ever done on Sportswire. I think this is going to be one that people are going to say, he's somebody that, look at what he's done. He's telling us these things. I'm listening to him. I'm listening to Levi McDaniel, and I think that I really hope that, I know you're a very busy man. You have so much going on in this world that you do. But if there's anything we can do, if you want to come on here anytime, please just, please let us know. We'd really love to have you here anytime. It's just, and also, Tom, remember I spoke on this. A lot of pro and indie wrestlers talk down about backyard guys, but things like this happen all the time. We go hard in that ring. Yes, he did talk about it, and I always defend the backyard guys. I think that's why the backyard guys know that I got their back, because I do believe in the backyard guys. I do believe in the undergrounders. I do believe in the deathmatch hardcore guys, and I think he's right that this is what we needed to see tonight in the backyard. We support in the backyard, and we support Levi McDaniel. We are so lucky to have had this man, just like Copper Dragon. Vegas Storms learned from the legendary Copper Dragon. We have the legendary Levi McDaniel. That's why I'm glad he's in our Hall of Fame. This is what it's about. And like I said, you better be here more often. I know you're a busy man. You've got, LMFP stuff, IMF, but we need to see you here more. It's an injustice you haven't been here more, and I hope that changes tonight after this conversation, sir. Sir. I don't call too many people sir, but I'll call you sir just for shits and giggles. But obviously we love you, Levi. But I hope you better be here more often before I let you go. You better be here more often. I'm telling you, people will. What a great response you had. I really hope you're here more often. I know you're a busy man though. But
just say the word, man. We can make it happen, man.
Sounds good to me. Dragon can kiss. Yes, he can big my big toe and love you, man. Yes, he does. We love you. We love you too. We love you too, Mac. We love everybody here. This is the story of the legendary Levi McDaniel, the Belfast Bulldog, the White Angel, but he's really affectionately, I'm going to say it, I'm going to now officially crown you tonight, for those that are listening and watching, the sensei of Sportswire Radio. This is our sensei. Just like he was in Japan for 2 years living there, and he's learned of their learning tree. Well, we've got our sensei. We had
bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei. Bow. Bow to me. Now bow to me, Tom. Thank you.
I should have bowed a long time ago. According to my parents, if I would have bowed in Brooklyn 20 years ago, I would probably have done better in life. No, actually, it's okay. We have here our sensei. Sensei McDaniel is here. LMFP Promotions. Please support them. I will connect everybody that wants to when we're off the air. That's his story. He's a part of the IMF as well. So good luck to Mac 10 in the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament. And I know I'll see him hopefully tomorrow. If not, I'll see him during the weekend, I hope. And he'll bow to his big toe. We appreciate all that. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally with all wrestling matters. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regular culture programming. I'll be here tomorrow after SmackDown with ADT. Speaking of Alabama, from the Alliance Wrestling League. He returns, and he's got a lot to say, but something tells me here it ain't going to be like what Levi McDaniel said, the sensei of Sports by Radio. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is Sports by Radio. And those are the links. Go out there and support. And until then, be there or be square. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you so much for your support.